Hi, my name is Max, and for more than a year my friend Igor and I have been building a replica of Lamborghini. We didn't really advertise anywhere about this project, just we put some information on the website Drive.ru, after which many people began to write us, asking us to show more of our work. And we thought over it and decided why not actually create a channel on which we will show everything in more details, how we do the things. So, let's get started! We thought of this project itself in the spring 2016. That year, one of my friends in Belarus just finished creating a copy of the body of Lamborghini Gallardo. He offered us to buy this auto body from him. I agreed without thinking twice. Further, it was necessary to decide the donor. On the computer, by overlaying 3D models of different cars on Lamborghini model, we began to select more suitable option. After lots of 3D fittings, we decided to go with the third-generation Mitsubishi Eclipse. The Eclipse model has several configurations, but it has the same auto platform like Evolution. That is, if we finish, we can take a swap kit from Evolution and stick it in Eclipse, and it will nicely lay on it. We opened the ad websites and started looking for a car. Suddenly we found a very interesting ad in Sochi about Eclipse model in sale, just with the same good configuration, having a 3-liter V6 engine, moreover with an auto body of the Spartan model. I decided to go for it and fly to Sochi. The car was sold by a dude from Moscow. When he was driving to the sea, he met with an accident. He drove the car to Sochi and left it there. The car stood there for 2 years motionless. No one drove it. I mean, if you understand, it's quite risky to take the car that has stood motionless for so long under the scorching sun and drive it almost 3,000 kilometers. But I decided to take a chance. Basically, having reached Krasnodar unharmed, I decided to go to Rostov-on-Don. Having reached Rostov-on-Don, I decided to go further to Moscow, and then after reaching Moscow, I drove it to St. Petersburg. Upon reaching St. Petersburg, we put the car in the workshop. It was about September. Oleg hasn't finished making the body yet, and we decided to technically rig the car. We changed all sorts of gaskets, wiring in some places, brake pipes, steaming, pumps, plugs, and some more wires there. Well, all the small stuffs, and it was November. Oleg said that the car's body is ready, so Igor and I took a trailer and went to Belarus for picking up the other components. After returning back to St. Petersburg, we began to work with the body. By overlaying the 3D models on each other of Eclipse and Lambo, we had a rough idea where it was worth cutting off the Eclipse so that the Lambo's body would fit on it. That is, what you see now we did in about an hour. After putting the body, we realized the scale of work. Let me repeat again, we roughly represented the amount of work precisely because of the overlay of the 3D model. But when we saw everything real, we were kind of bit horrified, because it's one thing to look in a computer, but in real life everything looks completely different. So now I'm gonna tell you in more detail about each stage of work. Let's start from the back of the body, because in order to put the body we had to cut off the back part and shorten the luggage space, somewhere by 25 centimeters. Igor is a welding technician, and he started to weld the floor in the luggage space. He also welded a compartment in the boot floor where the battery can be moved later. Well, why are we moving it there, I will tell you about it a bit later. Next we had to resolve the issue with the windshield frame. Since we decided to leave this car as a 4-seater cabrio, Mitsubishi Eclipse has a power-driven roof. We need to leave this frame in this place, so that when the roof folds, it clearly gets there into the slots and fits tightly. The front tracks need to be cut and moved 40 centimeters forward. We are very lucky that the top of the windshield in Eclipse and Lambo intersect almost in one place, as we can see on the 3D model. We welded temporary struts in the cabin and on the diagonal of the glass so that when the cut-off racks, the upper bar doesn't go down, neither left nor right. Well, how we made the racks? We welded the pipe with a diameter of 40 mm. We decided not to shade the front part of the fiberglass overlay. Rather, we made a cut from this overlay and we took it to the metal roll, where we made a metal mirror leaning on the racks of 2 and 5 mm thickness. We installed them and welded them to the pipes. Thus, these racks turned out, I think, even stronger than one in Eclipse that they produce in the factory. The door is one of the most difficult moments in replicating. The problem is that you need to create not just external part, but also the internal part and the response part of the opening. We took the door from Eclipse, cut off the foam from it and revented Lambor fiberglass foam through the spacers of the desired size. That is, we didn't touch the functionality of the door at all. We didn't transfer the lock, we didn't cut off the amplifier, we didn't touch the window regulator in any way. We installed the door handles, extended the push, adjusted the locks, and now our doors open and close perfectly. This Lambo model doesn't have a Lambo loop, so we even didn't bother about it. Also, having made such a metal caps, we shaped the inside part of the door and the opening, additionally reinforcing the opening and the door itself. Next, let's go to the wheels. In order to perfectly expose the wings of the arches, or basically the whole body, it's necessary to make a start from them. The original Gallardo model has a radius wheel of 19-inch with the sorrel patterns. I really like this one. I started searching in the internet and I found a suitable option, the 19-inch wheels with a tire. The rotiform wheel of BLQ model, most likely it's also a replica. When we put the wheels on the car, we saw that there was a very high ground clearance. And because of this clearance, the cap wheels and the archway doesn't look so good. And as we all know, Lambo is a low-rider car, so we needed to resolve the issue of touchdown of the car. We decided not to bother with the adjustable racks and immediately ordered the 4-suite air suspension. So in the minimum position, the height of the ground clearance is 4 cm and at the maximum it's almost 20. On the luggage boot we still have factory hinges, but on the hood we had to create a hinge from scratch, because the hood opens here such that needs a little forward push and then it goes upward. We made a blueprint and according to the blueprint we made improvised hinges. The inside part of the hood we strengthened it with the metal pipes. When we installed the body, we took the car out of the workshop for the first time. We drove the car from the locksmith workshop to the paint workshop. And here began a very difficult, long and painstaking work. This is the removal of the body and preparing for the painting. In fact, it's not finished yet. Besides the painting work, the metal works were also continued. We worked with the window, the box and its opening, the responding parts and the side lights. Also, a 3D printer was bought for the project. With the help of it, we printed all the grids, all sorts of caps, logos, buttons in the cabin, headlights and flashlights, from which we removed matrix and made the optics. Well, now I'm not going to talk about the optics, we'll make a separate video about it. So after the several months of filling and polishing, perfect preparation of each element, all gaps, several intermediate paint coats led us to such a result. Yes, there is still a lot of work to do on this, but the picture is really visible and the result is quite great. Now we're actively working on the setup of the cabin. We have already remade the seats and took them to the workshop for the construction. Next we will take a dashboard, all these plastics there, and we will certainly film it. Also, in order to give the car more spottiness, we made such a spoiler. Due to the fact that we got such a short boot, the outlines of the back of the car look slightly dull. We cut the spoiler on the CNC machine tool, which we acquired for this project and for the next one. Well, in the next video we'll tell you about how we create the optics from the scratch, how we made the car interior, how we solved the problem with the wheel inside, outside, and about many other things. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned. Bye!